Asia Bibi, the Christian woman who served 8 years on death row in Pakistan, is free to leave the country or will be protected by the government if she chooses to stay. That's what Pakistan's foreign minister has said in an interview for this programme, promising action against protesters who called for her to be killed after she was acquitted of blasphemy in October. Shah Mehmood Qureshi is also using his visit to the UK to talk about Kashmir, a disputed region where, on the Indian side, last year was the most deadly for a decade. More than 500 civilian security forces and militants were killed. India accuses Pakistan of meddling in its affairs and supporting the militancy. I asked the foreign minister what Pakistan was trying to achieve.
I want peace. I want peace in the region. The way things are moving, deteriorating, I'm concerned that something can trigger off. The Indians are not managing their side well. Based on two reports, the UN Commissioner's report and the all-party parliamentary group on Kashmir's report has highlighted the atrocities, the human rights violations.
And indeed there are two parts of Kashmir, and the UN report that you mentioned when it came out last year, highly critical of India, but it also had some criticism for Pakistan. It said there was a misuse of counter-terror legislation, that legitimate dissent, journalistic activity in Pakistani Kashmir was being affected.
We've opened up our side of Kashmir. You want to come there? You can go there. Any British citizen who wants to visit our side of Kashmir is welcome to do so. We have nothing to hide.
One dialogue that is underway in the region and very significant and current at the moment is the dialogue with the Taliban that the Americans have been involved in, and we're now at the stage where the Americans say there is the draft framework for a peace agreement with the Taliban. What has Pakistan's role, if any, been in that process?
To begin with, we were consistently saying, and Prime Minister Imran Khan was continuously saying, there is no military solution to Afghanistan. What is required is a negotiated political settlement. Now, the Trump administration expressed an interest to engage. Pakistan facilitated, and we are facilitating. And those talks have been constructive. You have to realize Afghanistan is not the same. It's different today. And they also realize they just cannot run over Kabul the way they did initially. And the Afghan government realizes that there's a considerable part of the country that is not in their control. So new realism is setting in, and a more realistic approach is being adopted.
Has there been an improvement then in your relations, in Pakistan's relations with the Americans? It's been a very cold time since the Trump administration came to power, but you're trying to do the same thing in Afghanistan.
I think we're on the same page today. I think there's a reset in our relations taking place, and the Americans have more confidence in this government.
Although it's only the other day that the Director of National Intelligence told a Senate committee that Pakistan was still providing a safe haven to terrorists.
Well, come and see for yourself. The situation, the dramatic improvement that has taken place on our side of the border. A lot needs to be done on the other side. In fact, allow me to say, if there are any safe havens, they're on the other side. We've cleared our side.
Is the Prime Minister Imran Khan prepared to meet President Trump?
Why not? Why not? Imran Khan will meet anyone if it's in Pakistan's national interest.
Let's talk about a case which has attracted headlines around the world for the last few months in relation to Pakistan, and that's the case of Asia Bibi, the Christian woman who spent 8 years on death row for blasphemy before being acquitted by the Supreme Court. Is she still in Pakistan?
Yes, she is.
And is she going to remain in Pakistan, or will she be seeking asylum abroad?
Decision. She's a free person. The Supreme Court has found her innocent. They've acquitted her.
You said she's a free person, but she must be in under some kind of protection. Is she in protective custody for her own safety at the moment?
I wouldn't say she's in custody. She's being protected.
Would you be able to protect her for the rest of her life if she remained in the country?
Oh, yes, we will.
But would it be your preference that she left the country for her own safety?
It's her decision.
Has there been an offer from the British government for her to come here?
We've asked friends around the world if they want to help her remain quiet.
That it doesn't help her case for there to be more publicity surrounding it?
I think so. If you want to help her person, then I think quiet diplomacy would be better.
Because at the time of her acquittal, that period reflected very badly on Pakistan and its international image. The vision of a woman who had just been acquitted by the Supreme Court, for people to be on the streets calling for her to be killed, the judges who acquitted her to be killed, calling the army chief an apostate, calling for the army to mutiny. This went on for days on the streets of Pakistan.
By some people.
And what action have you taken against them?
Very, very clear action that they cannot challenge the writ of the state. And people were taken into custody. They were put behind bars.
What charges have been brought against the leader of that group, the TLP?
Well, he's still in for maintenance of public order.
It is coming to a conclusion for Asia Bibi, but she is far from the only person who's been caught up in all of this. There are more than 1,000 people who've been accused of blasphemy, some of them murdered before their cases even got to trial. Mobs took action against them, some of them were even killed in custody. Is it time for the government of Pakistan to look at these laws and the way that they can be abused? Now, your government, Imran Khan's government, has even been against amending the law so that those who make false accusations of blasphemy are punished. Why?
There's a law. It should not be misused by anyone. That's our policy.
But is there any appetite for reforming it, given the evidence that it is being abused?
Nobody should abuse law. No one.
But the government's not prepared to reform the law to help prevent that happening.
I've said what I have to say.
Foreign Minister, thank you very much.
Thank you.